So I made a mistake. I put way too much varnish on and it bubbled up. It looked really good until I did that. So I was gonna try to make something else out of it, but instead I was gonna make another one. So that's what this is all about. Live and learn. So I'm gonna use the same color scheme. I'm gonna use the same method and do the same thing and see if I can make it better or recreate what I made, and I can actually walk you guys through how to do this. So I'm going to start with my scuba blue, and I'm just going to come in and I'm going to swirl around the page just like this. Okay. And now in between here I'm going to do the same thing and come back around. I'm going to swipe it down in the corners, kind of give it that swirl effect. Now I'm going to come in with my aromatherapy purple, and in those spaces I'm going to do kind of the same thing. Okay, just like that. Kind of fill in all those blank spaces with my purple. Alright. Now this is a punk pink by Iron Lac. Very bright, vibrant, and I'm just going to fill in all the rest of those white spaces with some pink. Kind of give it some dashes. I'm going to take a crumpled up piece of paper, and now right where I started, I'm just going to blot it all the way around in this big spiral, just like that. And I'm just going to kind of repeat it, just like this. This is how we're going to get that cloudy galaxy texture, and we're just going to keep working that until we get it the way we want it. You may or may not have to change out your paper. Okay. Get some paint strings. After you blot it, you're just gonna kind of go lightly back over those areas with your same color pattern. Come in with some white as well. Do a little bit more blot work here. A little bit more controlled. Like that. I'm going to go one last light pass through with my colors, just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. You can kind of see it really starting to come together. It's all just trial and error. Trust the process. Might take you a couple tries to really get it the way you want it, but this is one of those things that the more you do it, the better it's gonna start looking out. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. A little bit more pink there. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So now, let's go in and spit some stars. When you're doing a galaxy, it's kind of, the more stars you throw into it, the better it looks. Kind of throw some of it onto there. Like that. Now I'm going to contrast it. This is a ballet slipper. It's like a pink. I'm going to use some of these as my stars as well. There we go. I like that. So there's the new one. So this was the old one. I still really like what I did. And that's what we just did. It's not too drastically different. I like that. So now we're gonna let that dry. Make sure nothing touches it. That was one thing that I had an issue with this one. When I was drying it, I had a couple things land on my painting and I had to scrape it off and redo it. That's why a lot of this is so streaky. And then when you put your lacquer on, you just got to make sure not to overspray it because it will re-wet the paint, especially if you're doing it on poster board. And you get these kind of smeary paint colors. Doesn't look bad, but it looked way better. So let's let that completely dry. I'm going to actually take this, move it out of the walkway, put it up on a higher level so that way it can dry. And then once it does dry, I'm going to come in with this gloss varnish by Iron Lac. And then we just really got to make sure, one, it is completely dry, because if it is still wet, it's going to make your paints run together. It's going to make it real muddy. And if you overspray it, it's going to turn out like that. You're going to get big puddles of it. Let the drying process start. Alright, after several hours later, this is finally nice and dry, not tacky to the touch. So it is a time to apply. I'm doing a gloss varnish by Iron Lac. Typically, just a regular clear coat will work just fine if you're doing a poster board like this, but I don't have any of that, so I'm gonna work with this. Now, the big thing when you're doing something like this is you don't want to overspray. We're gonna do even sprays, and we're not going to stick in one spot for too long because you don't want it to pool up, because that's what happened with my other one. And here it is as a reminder. So this is what it does. It gives you this really nice shiny texture, but I oversprayed, so I got this big ugly bubble and it got my big fingerprint in there. So try not to overspray too much. So let's get into it. Nice even sprays. You can apply just one coat and come back to it later. I did that cross. I'm going to come to the side and get this side. And the big thing about this, you want to let it dry. Okay, make sure it is thoroughly dry before you even attempt to touch this. Too long is perfect. So you don't want to get your fingerprints on this because it gets really sticky. So if you go to touch it, you're going to leave a big fingerprint on it. So give it plenty of time to dry. But that's it. I think that came out really nice. If you guys have anything else that you want me to try or you would like to see a tutorial on, just let me know in the comments below, and I will do my best to not disappoint you. Until next time, do something, I don't know how to end a video.